Justin, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I am Peachy Keen. Are you getting ready for work?
No, so actually this week was my first week where oh sorry. Hold on. This week was my first week where my schedule changed to where I actually don't work on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So I'm
Oh,
dedicating really that time for the networking and investing and stuff like that. It'd be a lot easier to do so. Otherwise, that 9 to 5 is a little difficult to juggle other things with. So
so remind me again, what is your 9 to 5?
It is Safe Flight Auto Glass. So I'm changing windshields out. So it's not related in the real estate niche, and I have considered even just getting another job with it. If I was to get another job, it would be within the real estate realm.
Well,
For experience and whatnot.
we already have a lot of connections out there in Phoenix. So if you decide that's what you want to do, you want to transition to some type of commercial real estate job, uh,
Hmm.
and try to figure out uh, if that's workable or how it's workable. Would love to try to help you do that because I do
Yeah.
believe on the residential side, I don't know if there's a lot of opportunity for you to grow there, although there is some. I could definitely show you a lot of different ways to use the MLS to try to leverage that to start
Hmm.
small units, which I think is a great strategy when you're getting started. Um,
Yeah.
is to niche down and try to go smaller. But if you get started in the commercial side, I think your learning curve will be a lot faster, and you'll start to develop the relationships that you want to develop in the long run sooner
Yeah.
on the commercial side. So that's you need just let me know whenever you're ready to try to start doing that if you ever become interested in that. So how did you tell me a little bit more about you? How old are you? Did you grow up in Phoenix? Who's your mom and dad? Do you have brothers and sisters? Did you go to college? And at the end of that story, I'm really interested in how did you get interested in real estate?
Yeah, yeah, my story. I don't know. I've never, I guess, told someone my story, but I grew up, born and raised in Texas, Dallas, Texas, and you know, mom and dad, they have we've been, I don't know, house to house. I finally started growing up on a small town called Anna on the outskirts of Dallas. It's about an hour out of Dallas. Um, they did what they could and provided for me. I have a little brother as well, named Gavin, and it was a nice. I think it was a nice childhood. Like I said, they did what they could. Um, a single family house. It was a 3 bedroom, nice. Like I said, but I got my first job at, I would say, 12 or 13 because I wanted to have money of my own. And so that's when my dad taught me how to mow yards. And I started a little landscaping company. And I would just mow yards for the neighbors. And it kind of grew into something bigger. And that's what I did for a while until I got my first job at the age of 16 at a grocery store, 16 or 17. And I worked there. And since then, I've been, I don't know, going kind of job to job, seeing what my passion is. My dad was always telling me, like, it's going to take some time. It's going to, you have no idea what you want to do. There's plenty of people that even go to college and halfway through they change. And they're like, you just won't know for a while. So as that was going on, I got, I don't know, a little, I'm trying to figure out the word. I would get bored with jobs very soon. And so I realized maybe working for someone wasn't my biggest thing. And so I slowly got into entrepreneurship. As time went on, I got mixed up in an MLM, multi-level marketing, and I think I lost some money, but I think the best thing that came towards that was they made me read a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, and that's kind of where everything. You hear from everyone. That's kind of what changed. But I read the book and I realized real estate was really cool. Um, so I started diving into real estate and studying wholesaling. That's like the entry level to real estate and all that stuff. And so when I got into wholesaling, I was really trying to do it with no money down. So I was door knocking. I was with a couple of other my friends that were door knocking, trying to go into these lower class neighborhoods in Dallas and seeing if we can get a property under contract. Unfortunately for me, that was my first like sales gig, actually trying to do that, and I failed completely at it. So I didn't last very long in that. But I guess you could say I tried wholesaling for 3 or 4 years, wasn't too successful at it. Even up to a year ago, I was trying to wholesale, and I was, doing SMS marketing, a little bit of direct mail, trying to see if I can get, a house under contract. And I was talking to many sellers. I had probably 2 or 3 contracts right now, but they all fell through to the buyer. So I'd never completely finished the wholesaling, but I was, this close to doing it. But, unfortunately, that didn't fall through. I got into wholesaling because my big plan was to eventually get into multifamily real estate. They always say to wholesale, flip houses, get, a lump sum of money so you can get single family homes, rental properties, then go build a portfolio of 10 to 20 and then sell them off and do the 1031 to an apartment. I was like, okay, so that's the plan. That's the goal there. And as I started to learn more about real estate, I realized it wasn't until I think November of last year where I learned about syndication. I was like, oh, wow. So I can skip all that and I can go straight into multifamily. And so that's when I started to deep dive into syndication, multifamily investing, the differences, and seeing how to make that possible. And so I'm fairly new to the apartment syndication game. Just networking, talking to other investors is as far as I've gotten so far. I recently moved out here a little over a month ago to Phoenix. So this is a brand new market for me. It's been like moving out here has been like a reset. No, I don't have I don't have any family that lives out here other than my girlfriend now with me. And no friends. So it's really made me sit down and focus and to just really put my head down and work on this. So I think that's a really big benefit to moving out here.
So your girlfriend was from Texas also, and she moved with you?
No, so she's from here. She's from the northern part of Arizona, and she moved out there a couple years ago due to her profession, which was in hospitality. And then when COVID hit, hospitality wasn't doing so hot anymore. So we both lost our job in hospitality. I was a valet. And yeah, she convinced me to move out here. It was a really good decision. I was very hard-headed and didn't want to come out here at first, being born and raised there. Creating change is hard for people. And I guess It was hard for me. And I didn't want to realize that until coming out here, seeing how gorgeous it is out here and whatnot. I'm glad I did it. I really am. And I thank her for that. So.
Well, not unlike DFW, there is a ton of companies moving to the Valley. So that the economies and the job growth and the population growth and all of those metrics are very, very similar in both places. So you're going to find opportunity in either one of them. You just got to, start digging for it and see what that looks like. So, so you guys, when you got to Arizona, did either one of you have a job when you got there, or you both had to find a job once you got there?
So she had to find a job when she got here. I was working with Safe Flight in Dallas before moving here. So luckily I had a job coming out here. I think that was a big benefit to sticking with this company, was because, I already had income the second I moved here, basically.
Yeah.
And that did well, it really did. Now it's just a matter of, I don't know, like I said, I get bored at jobs very quick. And especially if it doesn't align with my end goal, I tell her and my friends, like I plan on being in real estate till I'm like 70 or 80. It's so cool how creative it can be. It's just, I figure that's my lifelong, one of my passions at least.
So with Safe Flight, are you an installer or are you working a different position with Safe Flight?
I'm an installer. I take out
And
the piece of glass and I put in a new one. So
so is their model like a franchise model or a 1099 model?
no, it's not it's not public yet, so it's not a franchise. They open stores all throughout throughout the country, and I'm an employee, a W-2
Regular
with
W-2,
them.
so not a
Hmm.
1099, not an independent contractor.
No, yeah, it's
Okay,
a W-2. I work for them, benefits and all
yeah,
that good stuff.
okay. And is the pay good?
So that's where they got me a little stuck, is because at first it was 17 an hour, and then you get like a little bonus for every car you do. It's like anywhere from $5 to $10. And I was like, that's not too bad. But apparently I'm part of this new pilot program with Safe Flight, to where they're trying something new, and it's like they said it's not definite. It could go away tomorrow, it could go away in a year. It's just we're testing it out. Like I'm the guinea pig, to where they're paying me 22 an hour. So it's a good paying job right off the bat. So that's one of the things that's keeping me there, because it is helping me, create my investments on the side, a savings. It's making it easier to do the things I need to do. So that's the only reason that it is a little difficult leaving the job to go into a whole nother profession where I don't have experience, where I am starting, at the bottom of the totem pole, making probably close back to minimum wage. Now the experience it's very well worth it. It's just managing my expenses, also trying to get that experience,
Right,
is the juggle.
right. How old are you, by the way, Justin?
I'm 24.
Okay. And did you go to college or you skipped college?
I skipped college. I didn't go to college.
And your fiance and you have been together how long?
We've been together for, what'd you say? About a year and a half, almost 2 years.
You're in trouble if she's having to answer
No,
for you.
no.
You're after this phone call, you're gonna have to make some amends.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go on a hike, huh?
Okay. So you've got a good paying job.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming you guys are renting an apartment.
Mm-hmm. Yep, we're renting an apartment.
Do you have roommates, or you guys rented a place by yourself?
So it's just a place with her and me. We are here in the future. I don't know, in the next 6 months or so, I'm gonna have roommates. My best friend / he's like a brother to me that lives in Dallas. I guess we convinced him to move out here, so he'll be moving out here as well. So we will have roommates here in the future. But as of now, yeah, it's just her and me in the apartment.
Okay. And so do you have are you going to have to find another place for more room, or you already have enough room?
We're gonna find another place with a 2-bedroom, because it's just a 1-bedroom. So as the roommate
Okay.
comes in, we're gonna find a
So
new place.
when is your friend going to move out?
We're thinking of mid-July to late July.
So that is, let's see, we're April, May, June, July. So you've got basically four months, right?
Yeah.
So 120 days. So I don't want you to find an apartment to rent.
Really?
I want you to buy an apartment. You've got 120 days to buy an apartment.
I have 120 days to buy an apartment.
Yes. Now,
Okay.
it might be a small apartment. It might only be a 4-unit.
Yeah.
But you're paying rent. You've already got a second person to pay rent. So in theory, this apartment building is already going to be generating extra cash for you. So there's 2 different strategies. Well, let's focus on one strategy. So what part of town are you guys living in?
So right now we're living in Scottsdale.
Okay. So you're probably not going to be able to find anything in Scottsdale.
Yeah.
It's cheap enough to buy. So you may have to move.
Yeah.
But you can get a loan. I'm assuming you've never bought a house before, and your fiance
No.
has bought a house before. So we need to find out what your income Number one, we need to find out what you qualify for. Okay. So you can have a discussion with a mortgage broker, or you can have, and you could probably do it online. There's probably online calculators. Okay. So you don't necessarily have to have a discussion with anybody, but you could, if you wanted to, have a discussion with a broker. Do you know Alicia Milton? Have you met her yet?
Alicia.
She's
No,
a
I don't.
commercial, she's a commercial agent with KW Financial.
I saw her on the partner list, I think, actually.
Okay, yeah. So you need to reach out to her and start having a discussion, because if you do decide to move jobs later on, he would be a good person to start to bounce these kind of ideas off of. Alicia, what are the, if you had to do it over again, would you take the same path? What does that look like financially? Would you consider, if you couldn't afford to not have $25 an hour, would you what other ways would you consider getting into this commercial real estate space? Have those kind of conversations. But most importantly, once you start meeting people, I want to make sure these are people that can move you forward with helping buy this apartment. Okay. So every friendship you develop needs to help you get to owning this apartment building. Okay.
For sure.
So tell Alicia what your plan is, that Jim said you have to buy an apartment in 120 days or he's kicking me off the platform.
Okay.
And the easiest way for you to do that is probably through a HUD loan, because you can get up to 95% financing. But you can only buy what your income allows you to buy. So you may not qualify, and you need to have that discussion with, you could start it with Alicia, but you're probably going to need to have it with, find somebody who, start Googling, start asking everybody that you can, how many 4-unit, 4-plex HUD loans did you do last year? Okay.
4-unit HUD loans.
Yeah. And you tell Alicia you need a list of every 4-unit building available within 15 miles. Okay. Because 15 miles you could get to work still reasonable.
For sure.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to know every 4-unit building available within that space. Now, that's one strategy. The second piece of that is, even if you don't have the 5% for the down payment, you need to start Googling first-time buyer programs for Arizona. Almost
that's something
has a lot of free money. Okay. You
Yeah.
only get to use it one time. So if you don't take advantage of it, then you'll never get it. And it's free money.
Yeah.
It's not a loan. It's a grant. We're going to give you $7,000. We're going to give you $10,000. Okay. So you need to know all of those programs. And there's usually more than one. So you may be able to double up.
Oh, really? There's more than one?
There's usually more than one, because there's more than one organization doing it. So you may find a state program that's offering 7 grand. You may find a small federal program that's only $1,500. You may find a local county program that's $500. You may find a city program that is specific to a neighborhood that says, if you buy in this neighborhood, we'll give you 5 grand. You may find there's loans, special loans, where they say your income would not normally qualify for this building, but if you're willing to take on ownership of this building and rehab it within 24 months, then we will provide you the financing. So you need to start investigating those programs in every hour of your spare time, because your 120 days is going to fly by.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well.
But 120 days from now, you're going to have accomplished what most people don't. Most people want to become apartment owners and they just never figure out how to do it, and they never get off the snide. Okay. You can do this. If you had a freaking lawn mowing business at 12, you can do this. It's not any harder than what you did when you were 12. Okay. You've just got to be out there, put yourself out there and go ask for what you want. Okay. Don't be afraid to approach an owner and say, look, I would call every owner of every, I wouldn't even limit myself to the 4 units.
4 to 6.
Well, here's another idea. You don't know too many people out there. Everybody that you know is still back in Texas.
Yeah.
But if I told you your life depended on raising $300,000 in the next 30 days, would you?
I'd find it.
Would you?
If my life depended on it, oh yeah.
Well, your life depends on it. Your future life depends on you raising 300 grand. If you really believe you can do that, then you need to start working on that, because now instead of buying just a 4-plex, you can start looking at, instead, you can start looking at anything up to $5 million. Because I'm going to make a commitment to you right now. If you find a commercial property worth between 1.3 and $5 million, I will give you my net worth and my liquidity and my asset management experience and my schedule of real estate owned. I will give you everything that you need to get a non-recourse loan with Fannie or Freddie. Okay?
Okay.
And I'll provide, don't worry about property management. Don't worry about the lender. Don't, just worry about finding the deal.
Okay.
Okay. So if you keep that low, if you can concentrate on the lower end of that, like anything under 2 million, then you don't need to raise very much money. So if you can raise 300 grand, you could definitely buy a $2 million property.
Okay.
So a $2 million property, if you can get a 70% loan, you only need 600K. Okay. So to get a loan like that. So we could find you another partner. If you find the building, like Alicia wants, she wants to own an apartment building too. Rick Chatterjee, do you know Rick yet?
I don't know Rick yet, no.
Rick also is on the partners list for Phoenix. He lives in the Phoenix area. Okay.
Oh, he's the one that's with KW as well. I think I saw.
I don't think Rick is with KW. I think Rick has an IT job or something.
Okay. Okay.
But
So Rick and
I want you to tell every one of them that Jim has put you on notice for 120 days. And I want you to tell them that, look, I have to do this. I don't have a choice. And by telling them that, they're going to try to help you figure out how to get it done. And tell them, say, look, I do not want anything. I've never raised money before. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't have the network of people to do this, but I've got to figure it out. And so I want to keep that raise as small as possible. So I'm not interested in, don't show me a $5 million property or a $7 million property. I want it to be 2 million and less. And I don't care how much less. Okay. Now don't abandon the 4-unit strategy, because that's a different kind of loan and you don't really need to raise any money for that. You can get the money, and maybe we need to have 2 separate strategies. Maybe we get the 4-unit first. And then immediately as you close that 4-unit, we start working on the next one, which is 2 million and less.
The 2 million and less.
Because you've only got so many hours in the day. You're already working a full-time job. Okay. So let's concentrate on the 4-unit first. Okay. Get the 4-unit done. But still, I want you to tell Rick and Alicia and anybody else that's on that Phoenix platform that Jim's put you under a deadline. Okay. And you need their help. because I want them doing, I don't want you to have to figure out everything by yourself. I want you to have the advantage of 4 or 5 or 6 different minds helping you
Hmm.
figure out how to do this. And they may know a building that you could pick up tomorrow. They may know who you need to contact for one of the first time buyers programs. You know, so all of these different pieces say, do you know anything about this? Do you know anybody I should know? Do you know what would be your first steps? And just start asking all these questions and ask for the help. Okay.
Okay.
And I believe that, trying to think. Well, first off, ask Alicia and anybody else that you may know already to
Hmm.
that you want a list of all of the 4 units within that um,
15-mile radius
mile
with
radius.
where I'm at.
Yeah, so that you can start to figure out, okay, which ones are for sale, which ones are not for sale. How
Hmm.
long has somebody owned this one? And I would even, if I could find a way every day that I was working, I'd have a Google map and I would plot every single building in that 15-mile radius so that I could see the ones that I could look at on the way to my next appointment.
Yeah.
And if I see one with the grass overgrown or a broken window or the roof looks like it needs to be replaced and the neighborhood is okay, that's the one I want to focus on,
Yeah.
because then I'm going to reach out to that owner and say, look, I know that you've owned this for 17 years. I know that there's a lot of maintenance issues. I am new to Phoenix and I want to be like you. I want to own a building like this. Is there anything or anything I can do or any way I can partner with you and take over and help you make this a beautiful property again? And
Mm.
if they say yes, you might have just found your partner, you might have just found the building you're going to buy, and you may not need any help
Yeah.
because they already own it. And all you're going to
Wow.
do is insert yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay.
just let's run with those basic ideas for now and let that be, because that's more than enough to put on your plate for right now. So,
For sure. So yeah. So the first step is that 4 the 4 unit. Figure out. I have 120 days to do so. Figure out the 4 unit. Look up the HUD loans and the types of programs that I can qualify for.
yeah, ask a broker how much you can qualify for.
Okay.
Either a mortgage broker or or even the seller, the asset broker. So someone like Alicia sells the units, because the formulas for figuring out what your income will allow you to buy are not, they're not this big secret thing. So she might have
Yeah.
a calculator and can help you, or you can go online and do it. Either one. Okay. Figure
Okay.
out how much you can afford to buy. Um, so there's a lot of different ways of doing it. Okay. So you can do the HUD loan and the first time buyers program. That's the fastest, easiest way,
Okay.
because you don't need to meet anybody. You don't need to get to know an owner. You don't need to go figure out any new programs that might be available or that most people don't know about, but just, and I'm going to send you this recording. I want you to go
Okay.
back through the recording again and write down in an outline form everything, all of these different ideas and steps, so that
Hmm.
you make sure you don't miss any of them. Okay.
Okay.
But let's figure out the fastest, easiest path and get you that 4 unit immediately.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you bonus points for every day under 120.
Okay, that sounds good. I'm gonna mark it on my calendar.
Okay, fantastic. So feel free to get back on my calendar as much as you want. If you want to get on my calendar every week and have a catch-up call and say, 30 minutes, this is what I've done this week, and this is where I'm struggling, and this is where I've had some success. Okay,
Okay.
then go ahead and book 4 of them out, ahead of time.
Okay.
And other than that, what other questions do you have for me? What did you want to get out of this phone call?
I mean, it's like you read my mind because you answered most of my questions from the start. Because my biggest thing was essentially my next steps on how to get into the commercial side. What I was thinking was I saw the list of brokers that was in the, for the Arizona market. And I was going to really target Tucson and talk to as many brokers as I could in Tucson to send me whatever they have within the certain criteria I'm looking for. That way I can.
Yeah, what you're looking for, those brokers won't have. And that is going to be on your list of things to do, just not first, just not yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, I see.
And I will want you to start networking also. Find all of the local networking groups, and don't join any programs. Okay.
So many. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
there's a really active group in Phoenix for what's the name of the group? Not Reonomy, but it starts with an R. For the life of me, I can't remember what it is right now. But anyway, you'll figure out they're there. And I would encourage you to hang out there. I would encourage you to go to their meetings. Just don't join anything. You're going to need every penny that you have in your building, not in somebody's pocket telling you how to do it.
That's how I felt about because I went to a couple of Brad Sumrocks when I was in Dallas, and I was there to network with investors, but there's no way I could, it's way too much,
Yeah. And you don't need to do that. Everything that Brad has to offer you, the GOB network has 10 times more than what Brad, when you pay Brad 20 grand, he doesn't have 10% of what we offer. So
not at all.
You don't need to do that. And I want you to avoid that at all costs. And also don't allow someone to draw you into an internship and take away your time building their business. Okay. Because right now you've already got 2 full-time jobs. You got a full-time job at Safe Light and a full-time job to find your own apartment building. So you don't have time to start doing it for somebody else. Okay. So you can do that later on if need be. Okay. So
yeah, that sounds good.
Let's get to work on that, and I'll look forward to the next phone call.
Okay. That sounds awesome. Yeah, I look forward to the next call too. I'll keep you updated.
All right. Sounds great. I'll talk to you soon then, Justin.
All right. Thank you, Jim.
All right. And also, as part of the makeup to your fiance, let me know if she's interested in this journey with you or not. Don't put any pressure on her though.
No, I won't.
Has to be voluntary. She has to want to do it, or otherwise it'll never work.
Yeah, that's something I'll talk to her about. Like she's over here working on a project, so yeah, I'll talk to her about it.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you.
By the way, it's not necessary. My wife says she has no interest at all, but I always constantly find her peeking her head out the door of her office saying, "Who are you talking to? What are you guys talking about?"
That's awesome.
I know she's really interested. She just doesn't want to have to do the day-to-day grunt work.
Yeah. No, yeah. That makes sense. It really does.
So, all right. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Jim.
Bye-bye.